Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a massive question that every single business faces. In a world full of people, how do you find your perfect customer? We're going to break it all down using a simple but super powerful marketing framework.
You see it all the time, right? A business tries to be everything to everyone. And it's a trap. It's the fastest way to become nothing to anyone. So how in the world are you supposed to find your people in this huge, incredibly diverse marketplace?
Well, the short answer is, you can't. And you know what? You shouldn't even try. The most successful companies out there, they don't just shout into a crowded room, they find the right person and whisper directly to them. And they do this using an incredibly powerful three-step process called STP Marketing. This is the secret sauce. It's how you go from yelling at everybody to having a real, meaningful conversation with the right somebody. So let's walk through it. Okay, let's jump right in with step one. This is all about taking a huge, messy, chaotic market and slicing it into smaller, much more manageable pieces. It's about bringing some order to that chaos. This is what we call market segmentation. The idea here is really simple. Instead of looking at the market as one giant, uniform blob of people, you start dividing it up. You create smaller, distinct groups of people who have similar needs, wants, and characteristics.
So, how do you do that? Well, marketers usually have a toolkit with 4 main ways to sort this giant pile of customers into neat, organized bins.
First up, we've got geographic. This one's pretty straightforward, right? It's simply grouping customers based on where they live. Could be by country, by city, or heck, even by neighborhood or climate.
Just think about a fast food chain. They're not going to offer the exact same menu everywhere. No way. They'll offer spicier options in places where people love heat, like McDonald's does in India with its Makalu Tikki burger. That's geographic segmentation in action.
Okay, next up is demographics. This focuses on the observable, statistical stuff about a population, things like age, gender, income, or what generation they belong to.
And this is exactly why you see completely different ads for the very same product on TikTok versus, say, daytime television. The message is tailored to Gen Z in one spot and to baby boomers in another. Now we start to dig a little deeper with psychographics. This is all about your customer's inner world. What are their values, their attitudes? What does their lifestyle look like? An eco-friendly cleaning company, for example, isn't just targeting people who want clean counters. They're targeting people who actively value sustainability. It's about what they believe in, not just what they buy.
And finally, there's behavioral segmentation. This one looks at how customers actually act. How do they interact with a brand? Are they a first-time buyer, a super loyal fan, or maybe someone who only ever buys when there's a big sale?
So, you've done the work. You've sliced that big market into these nice, neat, understandable groups. Now comes the really critical part. You have to choose which slice of that pie you actually want.
And that, my friends, is targeting. This slide just nails the shift in thinking. You're moving on from sorting the entire market to aiming all of your effort at one specific, really promising piece of it.
This is where the real strategy kicks in. You look at each of those segments you just made, and you have to ask some tough questions. Which group can we serve better than anybody else? Where's our biggest opportunity for growth? Who are our people? All right, let's move on to the final step. And honestly, this might be the most crucial one of all. It's all about winning a specific piece of mental real estate right inside your customer's head. This is positioning. It's the art and science of shaping exactly how your target customer thinks and feels about your brand compared to all the competitors. When they think phone, for example, does Apple pop into their head first or Android? That's positioning. Now, check this out. This is called a perceptual map, and it's a fascinating way to actually see positioning. Look where McDonald's is compared to Five Guys. They both sell burgers, right? But in our minds, they are worlds apart. One is positioned as ordinary and affordable. The other is a unique premium choice. That is positioning in action. A really powerful way to position your brand is with something called a unique selling proposition, or USP. It's a clear, compelling promise that your competitors either can't or just don't offer. Domino's is the classic example. They didn't just sell pizza, they sold speed and reliability. So after all this strategic work, what's the big payoff? You segmented the market, you've targeted your ideal customer, and you've positioned your brand. You are now left with an incredibly powerful tool. You have created a crystal clear picture of your ideal customer.
And in the marketing world, we call this a buyer persona.
And look, this isn't just some vague concept. It's a detailed profile, just like this one for Sarah, that brings all of your hard work to life. You know her age, her job, her biggest challenges, her habits. You know how to talk to her.
By understanding this whole STP process, you now have the blueprint. You can finally stop marketing to everyone and start talking directly to your own Sarah. So the question